Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the oscillating patterns on her quantum detector's display, her heart racing as she recognized their significance. The signals weren't random noise from deep space. They were orchestrated, precise, and terrifying. 3 months of analyzing these patterns had led to one undeniable conclusion. Something was manipulating the quantum field around Earth's solar system. In her underground laboratory at CERN, Sarah's fingers flew across the holographic interface, correlating the data with astronomical observations. The patterns showed deliberate interference with quantum entanglement on a massive scale, creating ripples in space-time that shouldn't be possible according to current physics models. Dr. Patil needs to see this, she whispered, reaching for her secure communicator. Her colleague in linguistic mathematics had been tracking similar anomalies in global communication networks. Halfway across the world, Dr. Raj Patel was already awake, despite the late hour in Mumbai. His office walls were covered with displays showing communication patterns from every major network on Earth. Something had been subtly altering these patterns for months, changes so minute that only his experimental AI algorithms could detect them. The signals are accelerating, he told Sarah through their quantum-encrypted channel. Whatever's causing them, it's getting closer. And Sarah, they're learning. The data showed how the unknown force was systematically analyzing and replicating human communication protocols, but with one crucial difference: they operated on quantum principles that defied classical physics. Each attempt to track them revealed new layers of complexity. At the International Space Station, Commander Maria Rodriguez noticed it first: subtle shifts in the station's quantum positioning system. The changes were almost imperceptible, but as a veteran of 3 space missions, she trusted her instincts. The stars weren't where they should be, off by mere picometers, but wrong nonetheless. "Houston, we're detecting anomalous gravitational readings," she reported. "It's as if space itself is being folded." Back on Earth, military satellites began detecting similar distortions. General James Chen, Sarah's father and head of the Global Defense Initiative, ordered worldwide military forces to high alert. But how do you defend against an enemy that manipulates the fabric of reality itself? In a secure conference room deep beneath the Pentagon, Sarah and Raj presented their findings to a panel of military and scientific leaders. The holographic displays showed the convergence of their research. The quantum distortions and communication anomalies were 2 aspects of the same phenomenon. "They're not just sending signals," Sarah explained, her voice steadied despite her exhaustion. "They're reshaping space-time to create a network, using quantum entanglement on a scale we barely comprehend. It's like they're building a highway through our solar system." Raj stepped forward, adding, "And based on the complexity of these patterns, we're dealing with intelligence far beyond our current understanding." But he paused, bringing up a new set of data. "They have a weakness. They rely completely on quantum mechanics for everything they do." Sarah nodded, continuing his thought. "Which means they might not understand or expect classical physics solutions. Everything they do is elegant, perfect, too perfect. They have no redundancy, no backup systems. They don't seem to comprehend the concept of failure." General Chen studied the data, his military mind already formulating strategies. "Are you suggesting their advanced technology might be their vulnerability?" "Exactly," Sarah replied. "They operate on pure quantum principles, but humanity's strength has always been our ability to use both elegant and brute force solutions. We still keep backup analog systems. We plan for failure. We embrace chaos and redundancy." As if to emphasize her point, the quantum detectors suddenly spiked, their readings going off the scale. Above Earth's atmosphere, thousands of points of light began to appear, like stars being born. The quantum distortions were manifesting in normal space. "They're here," Raj whispered, watching the patterns he'd studied for months transform into something terrifyingly real. Commander Rodriguez's voice crackled through the quantum noise, multiple objects materializing in high orbit. They're beautiful. The first images from space showed crystalline structures that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, their surfaces reflecting light in ways that defied physics. They were works of art, perfect in their construction, and utterly alien. General Chen turned to his daughter and Raj. "How long do we have?" Sarah studied the data streams, her mind racing through calculations. Based on their current patterns, 24 hours before they complete their network. After that, they'll have total control over our quantum infrastructure. Then we have 24 hours to prove that humanity's messy, redundant, imperfect nature is our greatest strength, the general stated, his voice carrying the weight of 6 billion lives. Around the world, as the crystalline ships became visible to the naked eye, humanity faced its greatest test. Their opponents were perfect, advanced, and seemingly unstoppable. But they had never encountered a species that thrived on imperfection, that turned chaos into advantage, that kept ancient technologies alive alongside the new. The warning signs had been there all along. Now it was time to show the universe why humanity's greatest strength was its ability to embrace both the quantum and the classical, the digital and the analog, the perfect and the imperfect. Sarah looked at her father, then at Raj, seeing the same determination in their eyes. "We need to call in everyone. Physicists, engineers, historians, even archaeologists. If we're going to survive this, we need every tool humanity has ever created." The countdown had begun. The crystalline ships hung motionless above Earth, their multidimensional structures casting impossible shadows across the planet's surface. But the real invasion had already begun in the invisible realm of quantum states. Dr. Sarah Chen watched in horror as global networks began failing in cascading waves. First, quantum computers worldwide went dark, their delicate entangled states disrupted by the aliens' superior control of quantum space. Then modern encryption systems crumbled as quantum cryptography became unreliable. "They're not just disabling our technology," Raj observed, his hands flying over an old mechanical keyboard connected to a computer that predated quantum circuits. "They're reshaping our digital infrastructure to match their own patterns." In orbit, Commander Rodriguez and her crew witnessed the transformation firsthand. The International Space Station's quantum positioning systems had failed completely, but Maria had already switched to old-style star charts and manual calculations, skills that seemed obsolete until this moment. Station maintaining position using classical navigation, she reported through a hardwired radio channel. "The aliens don't seem to understand, or even notice, non-quantum communications." This observation sparked an idea in Sarah's mind. She turned to her father, who was coordinating global military responses from the underground command center. "What if we're thinking about this wrong? We've been trying to defend our advanced systems, but maybe we should be embracing our technological heritage instead." General Chen nodded slowly, understanding dawning in his eyes. "Our older technology isn't just immune to their attacks, it's invisible to them. They literally can't comprehend systems that don't operate on quantum principles." Around the world, a pattern emerged. While modern cities with quantum-based infrastructure went dark, older systems and rural areas remained largely unaffected. The aliens' perfect quantum network had a blind spot. It couldn't detect or interact with classical electronic or mechanical systems. In a stroke of ironic fortune, humanity's habit of never fully retiring old technology became their salvation. Raj discovered that his grandfather's amateur radio equipment could communicate freely, completely undetected by the alien network. Ancient dial-up modems and analog telephone lines became secure channels for coordinating resistance. Sarah worked frantically with a team of physicists to understand the aliens' quantum architecture. "Look at this," she pointed to a display showing the alien ship's energy patterns. "They're so perfectly efficient that they have no concept of waste energy or redundancy. They don't even have shielding against classical electromagnetic waves, because in their development, they never needed it." In the Smithsonian's Technology Archives, Dr. Maya Henderson, a technology historian Sarah had recruited, made a crucial discovery. We've found caches of vacuum tubes, transistor-based computers, even mechanical calculators. They're not just museum pieces anymore. They're weapons. The aliens continued their silent invasion, unaware that humanity was mobilizing in ways they couldn't detect. Old military bases reactivated Cold War-era equipment. Radio operators dusted off Morse code. Engineers retrieved magnetic tape storage systems from archives. In orbit, Commander Rodriguez made another startling discovery. The alien ships, they don't have any physical sensors. They rely entirely on quantum field detection. They're blind to ordinary light, radio waves, even radar. This revelation led to a breakthrough. Sarah and Raj worked with Maya to develop a hybrid communication system, using quantum computers to process data, but transmitting it through classical channels. The aliens could detect the quantum computations, but were blind to the actual information transfer. It's like they evolved in a completely different direction, Raj explained during a secure briefing. They mastered quantum mechanics so early in their development that they never needed to develop classical technology. They don't even have a concept of wave-particle duality because they only experience the quantum side of physics. General Chen mobilized a unique response force. Instead of advanced weapon systems, they armed themselves with modified versions of decades-old technology. Cold War-era electronic warfare equipment was pulled from storage. Even simple devices like cathode ray tubes and analog signal generators became powerful tools against an enemy that couldn't perceive them. The aliens' quantum network grew stronger by the hour, encompassing more of Earth's advanced infrastructure. But beneath this seemingly unstoppable assault, humanity was building something the aliens couldn't comprehend. A resistance network based on technologies their perfect quantum sensors couldn't detect. Sarah worked through the night with Maya and Raj, developing a plan that seemed almost primitive by modern standards. "We're going to fight quantum perfection with analog chaos," she explained to her father. "Every piece of outdated technology, every obsolete communication protocol, every mechanical computer, they're not our weakness, they're our strength." As the 24-hour deadline approached, humanity prepared for a counterattack that would prove that imperfection, redundancy, and technological diversity were not flaws, but essential survival traits. The silent invasion had revealed an unexpected truth. Sometimes the oldest solutions are the best ones, especially when facing an enemy that only understands perfection. Dawn broke over a changed world. Cities that once pulsed with quantum technology lay dormant, their advanced systems subsumed by the alien network. But in this artificial silence, humanity's response was taking shape in ways the quantum invaders never anticipated. Dr. Maya Henderson stood in a vast underground chamber beneath the Smithsonian, surrounded by technological artifacts spanning centuries. Every piece of technology humans have ever created, she gestured to the collection, represents a different way of solving problems. We never fully abandoned any of them. We just kept adding new layers. Sarah and Raj worked alongside her, connecting modern tablets to vacuum tube amplifiers, coupling fiber optic lines with copper wire, creating hybrid systems that shouldn't work but somehow did. Their goal was ambitious, building a global communication network that existed simultaneously in classical and quantum states. "It's like creating a shadow internet," Raj explained, his fingers dancing across an ancient teletype machine now interfaced with quantum processors. "The aliens control the quantum layer, but they can't see what's happening in the classical realm." Commander Rodriguez, maintaining the space station through increasingly creative means, became their first test subject. Ready to attempt hybrid transmission, she reported through a cobbled-together system that used both radio waves and quantum entanglement. The message arrived in the underground chamber split between a computer screen and a clicking Morse code receiver. "It works," Sarah breathed, watching data flow through two parallel channels. "They can intercept the quantum portion, but it's meaningless without the classical component." Around the world, a remarkable transformation was taking place. Radio enthusiasts became vital communication hubs. Retired engineers found themselves teaching young technicians how to operate equipment that hadn't been used in decades. The global response had an organic, chaotic nature that defied the aliens' perfect quantum logic. Maya discovered something fascinating in her research. "Look at this," she pointed to historical records. "Every time humanity faced a crisis, we adapted by combining technologies in new ways. We never followed a single path of development. We explored every possible solution simultaneously." General Chen coordinated this unprecedented effort from a command center that looked more like a technology museum than a military installation. Modern holographic displays stood alongside vacuum tube oscilloscopes. Quantum computers worked in concert with mechanical calculators. "We're not just building a communication network," Sarah realized, watching the hybrid system grow. "We're creating a technological immune system. Every piece of old technology we reactivate makes us stronger, more resilient." The alien ships remained in orbit, their perfect crystalline structures unchanged. But their quantum network began to show signs of strain as it encountered human systems it couldn't fully control or understand. Like an organism that had never been exposed to certain stimuli, it had no defense against the chaotic mix of technologies humanity was deploying. Raj made another breakthrough while studying the aliens' communication patterns. They don't just prefer quantum mechanics, they're completely dependent on it. They have no concept of classical physics as a separate phenomenon. It's like they're deaf to certain frequencies of reality. In orbit, Maria conducted a series of experiments that confirmed this theory. Simple mirror arrays and radio reflectors went completely unnoticed by the alien ships. "They can't even see us unless we interact with quantum fields," she reported. "Everything else is invisible to them." The hybrid network grew stronger, spreading across the globe like a living thing. Old television broadcast towers were repurposed, their signals carrying both classical and quantum information. Underground fiber optic cables paired with ancient copper wires created data pathways the aliens couldn't fully monitor or control. But time was running out. The alien quantum network was completing its integration of Earth's advanced infrastructure. Soon, they would begin the next phase of their invasion, whatever that might be. "We need to do more than just communicate," General Chen insisted during a global strategy session. "We need to find a way to fight back." Sarah, Raj, and Maya exchanged looks. They had been developing a theory, a way to use humanity's technological diversity as more than just a defense. If they were right, the very chaos and imperfection of human technology might be weaponized against the quantum-pure aliens. "Their perfection is their weakness," Sarah explained, pulling up diagrams showing the alien network structure. "They've evolved to be so perfectly efficient that they have no defenses against inefficiency, no immunity against chaos." Maya added, "Every technology humans have ever created is like a different musical note. Alone, they're simple, but together they create a symphony that could shatter quantum perfection." Raj finished. As the alien ships continued their silent occupation of Earth's quantum infrastructure, humanity prepared to demonstrate why being perfect isn't always an advantage. Sometimes, the ability to embrace imperfection, to thrive in chaos, to maintain seemingly obsolete technologies. These weren't weaknesses, but survival traits that had served humanity since the dawn of civilization. The stage was set for a confrontation that would prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in achieving perfection, but in finding beauty and utility in imperfection. The counterattack began not with a bang, but with a cacophony of signals from every era of human technological development. From the depths of the Smithsonian bunker, Maya Henderson initiated the sequence by activating a mechanical computer from the 1940s. "Analog signal chain initiated," she announced, watching brass gears spin and click into motion. Across the room, Raj coordinated with radio operators worldwide, their voices mixing with the static of shortwave frequencies. Sarah stood before a massive display showing the alien quantum network as a crystalline web encasing the Earth. "Remember," she addressed the global response team, "we're not trying to match their perfection. We're going to overwhelm it with complexity they can't process. The first phase began with a worldwide transmission of pure noise, radio static, mechanical vibrations, electrical interference, all carefully calibrated to exist just outside quantum states. To human observers, it was barely noticeable. To the aliens' quantum-pure senses, it was like a rising tide of shadow information they couldn't process. Commander Rodriguez reported from orbit. The alien ships are showing the first signs of response. Their crystalline structures are shifting. Through the space station's classical cameras, she watched as the perfect geometric forms of the alien vessels began to display subtle distortions. General Chen coordinated the second phase from his hybrid command center. Ancient vacuum tube transmitters powered up alongside modern quantum computers. Telegraph keys clicked in rhythm with digital data streams. Each technology added its own layer of complexity to the assault. "It's working," Raj observed, monitoring the alien network's reactions. Their quantum fields are trying to compensate, but they can't adapt to signals they can't properly detect. It's like trying to catch smoke with a net. The alien ship's response was immediate but confused. Their quantum network pulsed with increasing energy, attempting to assert control over Earth's infrastructure. But humanity's hybrid systems slipped through their grasp, existing simultaneously in classical and quantum states. Sarah's team had discovered a fundamental truth about their adversaries. The aliens' perfect quantum technology had evolved so far in one direction that it had lost the ability to handle uncertainty. They couldn't process the fuzzy boundary between classical and quantum physics that humanity navigated every day. Maya's historical knowledge proved crucial as they deployed waves of increasingly archaic technology. Each era of human innovation approached physics differently, she explained. "We're not just attacking them with old technology. We're challenging them with every way humans have ever thought about reality." The alien ships began to show signs of genuine distress. Their perfect crystalline forms vibrated at frequencies that shouldn't have been possible. The quantum network they had built around Earth flickered as it encountered patterns it couldn't resolve. In orbit, Maria made a startling discovery. The ships, they're not just vehicles. They're like living crystals. Our hybrid signals are affecting their actual structure. This revelation shifted the nature of the conflict. They weren't just fighting an alien invasion. They were witnessing a clash between two fundamentally different approaches to existence. The aliens' pure quantum state made them incredibly powerful, but also incredibly vulnerable to the messy, chaotic nature of classical physics. Raj's linguistic algorithms detected patterns in the aliens' quantum fluctuations. "They're trying to communicate," he reported. "But it's like they're speaking a language that only knows perfect geometric shapes, trying to describe a Jackson Pollock painting." The third phase of the counterattack incorporated everything from mechanical computers to quantum processors, each adding its own layer of complexity to the assault. The aliens' perfect network began to show cracks as it encountered signals it couldn't categorize or control. This isn't just about technology, Sarah realized, watching the quantum web unravel. It's about the fundamental difference between their evolution and ours. They evolved toward perfect quantum efficiency. We evolved to handle uncertainty and chaos. The alien ship's crystalline structures began to oscillate wildly as they encountered more and more information they couldn't process. Their quantum network, designed for perfect efficiency, had no protocols for handling the overwhelming flood of classical interference. Maya watched through early television cameras as the first alien ship's perfect geometry began to fragment. "They never developed immunity to imperfection," she said softly. "They never needed to, until now." General Chen received reports from around the world as humanity's hybrid network continued its assault. The aliens' quantum control was weakening, their perfect system overwhelmed by the complexity of human technological evolution. But as the alien ships began to show signs of retreat, Sarah noticed something in their quantum signatures. "Wait," she called out, studying the readings. "They're not just running away. They're changing, evolving, right before our eyes." The conflict had entered its final phase, but not in the way anyone had expected. The clash between quantum perfection and human chaos was about to reveal something profound about the nature of both species. The crystalline ships above Earth no longer held their perfect geometric forms. Instead, they pulsed and shifted, their structures adopting more fluid organic patterns. Through the space station's classical cameras, Commander Rodriguez watched in amazement as the aliens began to transform. "They're responding to us," Sarah explained, studying the quantum readings. "Not just to our attack, but to our entire approach to existence. They're learning to handle imperfection." In the Smithsonian bunker, Maya's historical archives revealed something profound. "Look at human technological evolution." She pointed to a timeline spanning centuries. "We never achieved perfect quantum efficiency because we never stopped exploring alternatives. Our primitive technologies weren't steps toward perfection. They were experiments in different ways of understanding reality." The alien ship's transformation accelerated. Their once rigid crystalline structures now displayed a fascinating blend of order and chaos, quantum and classical states existing simultaneously. Raj's linguistics team detected new patterns in their communications. "They're not just sending quantum signals anymore," he reported excitedly. "They're attempting to communicate through classical channels. Radio waves, light patterns, they're learning our languages." General Chen watched the displays with growing understanding. "This isn't an invasion anymore, is it? It's becoming something else entirely." Sarah nodded, her eyes fixed on the readings. "They evolved to quantum perfection because they never encountered classical physics in their development. We're introducing them to an entire half of reality they never knew existed." The first direct communication came through a combination of quantum entanglement and radio waves, a hybrid message that reflected the aliens' rapid adaptation. Through this channel, humanity learned the truth about their visitors. The aliens, calling themselves the Symmetrians, had evolved in a region of space where quantum effects dominated. Their development had been a steady progression toward perfect quantum efficiency. They had never experienced the messy, chaotic aspects of classical physics that shaped Earth's evolution. They didn't come to invade, Maya realized, reading the translated messages. They came to impose what they thought was perfection. They couldn't imagine that imperfection might have value. In orbit, the transformed Symmetrian ships now displayed a stunning blend of crystalline precision and organic fluidity. Commander Rodriguez described it as watching perfect mathematics learn to dance. The Symmetrians shared their story. They had discovered Earth through quantum fluctuations and, detecting what they saw as primitive chaos in human technology, sought to perfect it. Instead, they found themselves transformed by exposure to humanity's technological diversity. "We never understood the power of uncertainty," the Symmetrians communicated. "Our pursuit of perfection had become a prison, limiting us to a single state of being. You have shown us that true evolution requires both order and chaos." The hybrid network that humanity had built to defend Earth became a bridge between species. Through it, humans learned about quantum engineering beyond their wildest dreams, while the Symmetrians discovered the creative potential of imperfection. Dr. Sarah Chen and her team began working with Symmetrian scientists, exploring the boundary between quantum and classical physics in ways neither species had imagined possible. The aliens' perfect quantum technology, combined with humanity's embrace of multiple solutions, opened new frontiers in understanding the universe. Raj found himself teaching Symmetrians about human languages, watching in fascination as they learned to appreciate the beauty of ambiguity and metaphor. Maya's historical archives became a testament to the value of preserving multiple approaches to problem solving. The transformation of Earth's obsolete technology from a perceived weakness to a source of strength changed both species' understanding of progress. The Symmetrians learned that evolution wasn't just about achieving perfection. It was about maintaining the ability to adapt and change. In the end, what began as an invasion became a renaissance. The Symmetrians' quantum mastery, tempered by human chaos and creativity, led to breakthroughs that neither species could have achieved alone. Earth's cities hummed back to life, now powered by hybrid systems that bridged the quantum and classical realms. Commander Rodriguez, watching Earth from orbit alongside a transformed Symmetrian ship, reflected on how close they had come to conflict. "We didn't win a war," she transmitted to the ground. "We sparked an evolution." In the Smithsonian bunker, now a center for human Symmetrian cooperation, Sarah, Raj, and Maya continued their work. The old technologies that had saved humanity remained active, not as backups, but as reminders that progress wasn't a straight line toward perfection. "Our greatest strength," Sarah told a group of young human and Symmetrian students, "was never in our advanced technology or our old machines. It was in our ability to use both, to thrive in the space between order and chaos. That's the true gift we shared with the Symmetrians, the power of imperfection." Above them, the transformed Symmetrian ships danced in orbit, their crystalline forms now a beautiful blend of precision and possibility, a testament to the day humanity proved that sometimes the most powerful force in the universe isn't perfection. It's the ability to change.